Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, April 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, AMC, the move continues, higher highs and higher lows. A lot more people starting to talk about it, so definitely worth keeping an eye on. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of that level there as it served its purpose. Then the next update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken above. So for those of you that watched the video from yesterday, hopefully you remember me talking about right around this $5 and 35-ish cent area as resistance, but with the price breaking up above it, which happened right there. At that point, you now want to see it act as support. Now, let me be very clear. This is an ideal support, meaning if you say, Clay, what would make this chart look ideally the best? Well, yeah, staying above that level. But if the price falls below there, the overall chart's not ruined or destroyed or anything like that, because from a bigger picture, as long as the price stays above that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, keyword being moving. So it's kind of like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you, because as time goes on, that line's going to move itself higher and higher. So from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above the trend line, quote unquote, then the overall trend still remains in the bull's favor. But yes, as far as what would make the chart look the strongest, certainly staying above that 535 mark. In terms of next battlegrounds, as we're seeing here, we have to go back quite a bit of ways in the chart's history because it's been a long time since the price has been up this high. But the next key overarching level of resistance is going to be right up there, which essentially right where the price got rejected at 560. You can see right here. Whoops, let's change the colors on that. So rejected, 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 and then once again rejected here today. So 560, public enemy number one moving forward. But overall, higher highs and lows, and that's the name of the game. Next one, RIOT, one of these Bitcoin stocks, and has really come to life again past couple of days and now has some very well-defined levels here. So you got to think that a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there, just kind of that area of resistance, which puts the breakout point right up around $12.50. And at the same time, they've noticed that this pullback location down around here, this former breakout area right there. So let me change that to green to represent support. And then to just keep this easiest, let's make this all one color. So this is nothing fancy. This is nothing special or talent. A lot of people, I think, have drawn this pattern. And I say that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels, watching the same patterns, all that, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So we have resistance support. You have the big move up right there. You have the golf hole down here to make it a little bit more visual. And what we have here is a bull pennant pattern. So while there are no guarantees, is it valid to think that if the price turns itself around, comes back up, and breaks up through the top part of that pattern, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? Yes, not a guaranteed outcome, but a plausible outcome, and one that nobody could accuse you of just doing some sort of randomness within your trading. So if you like bull pennants, if you like this price range, keep an eye on it. Next one here, BBBY, and this will mean a bit more to those who have watched past videos, but I've tracking this one quite a while, just saying, okay, this thing's got to bounce, and it's got to bounce. I mean, okay, now this thing keeps going down. And now maybe is this the move? So the question here in my mind is relatively popular stock, absolutely destroyed. And I know you have all sorts of negative but from a technical point of view and a psychological standpoint, and I would consider this a cult stock. Cult stock, absolutely beat down, looking for any reason to bounce. And have we finally found some sort of bottom here? And is this the leading indicator that another bounce is underway? Now, let me be very clear. I wish I could say trading was this easy, that just because it's a super popular stock that got beat down, that's going sideways, for sure guaranteed it's going to bounce. Of course not, but these dynamics make it at least worthy of watching, and that's what a watch list is all about. Finding interesting, finding unique situations, and not randomly rushing out and buying anything, but again, watching it, keeping an eye on it. So if you like penny stocks, if you like to play these scenarios where maybe some sort of bottom's finally in, and can this thing make another move to the upside, that I'd certainly keep an eye on it. Key battleground certainly now going to be right up there at that 34-cent mark. You can see this is where it struggled couple of days ago, and then that's right where the big explosion there happened. But if the price can work its way back up there and get a break up through it, who knows what can happen? Worth, like I said, keeping an eye on and watching. Next one, LUCY, big mover today, big afternoon movement. Granted, the last 30 minutes there, you can see the price is pulling back here a bit. But nonetheless, from a bigger picture standpoint, good solid pattern here. So let's get this trend line drawn into play right there. Got to think a lot of people have probably drawn that. And then as far as the supports are concerned, you have this general area down here. So maybe this isn't the most cleanest of patterns, but still the general idea stands. And then let's make this all the same color. So again, we have our resistance, we have our support, you have the big upwards move here, you have the golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So maybe you don't like stocks up above $10 like RIOT was, but here's one sub $10, and it is a bull pennant pattern. So if you like these, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, WW, very nice gap up, and then after that has just kind of slowly grinded higher and higher. So very, very impressive move. And let's just first start talking about support, and then I'll go to the area of resistance here. Let me change that real quick. But first key level of support, well, really a couple levels. First one would be right here at $6.45. Think back to AMC. That would be the ideal level. But again, if that level fails, then that does not mean that the entire chart's epically destroyed or anything like that. If that level can't quite hold up, next key level after that would then be down there at $6. So that makes it easy, right around $6.45 and $6 in terms of areas of support. But as far as resistance levels, got to squeeze things down here quite a bit. As we're going back far into the chart's history, here's a couple of old lines. I can get rid of those. But yes, the key level here, and maybe you know right where we're headed with this, is right up there at, let's just call it $7.05, which is where the price peaked out last time it went on a crazy move. So this is now crazy move, so this was round one over here of crazy move. This is round two, and that's what the big question revolves around. Can the price, unlike round one, get up to that level and push up through it? So we'll see what happens, but it's certainly, you got to think there's an attribute of that self-fulfilling prophecy that comes along with it. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, to manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, MARA. Probably should have put this one back to back with coin, given they're the general same stocks and move with one another. But yeah, the big dynamic here, and it's not ruining the chart, but you got to acknowledge it. Last 30 minutes here, very, very brutal here on the day. So is this a sign of a bigger pullback to come? Now, I'm not going to use the word reversal because one candle is not a reversal. But, in my mind, is at least valid the question of, does this candle mean that a deeper pullback's coming? Seems plausible at this point, given the nature of just how big this candle is. And as I speak, because the market, again, is still open, continues to get bigger. But let's focus on a couple different potential pullback locations. First one being right there at that $10 mark. And then if the price gets even more aggressive on the pullback, next potential area down there right around $9.60. So for you pullback players, like I said, $10 and $9.60 looks relatively interesting. As far as areas of resistance, squeezing things down. Actually, this is kind of unnecessary because with the bigger pullback here, we have a very well-defined level that would take quite a bit even to get back up to that level. So yeah, two candles in a row right there at 1065 is going to be that key level of resistance. And again, nothing fancy or complicated behind the reasoning other than the fact of, well, where did the party finally stop? And the party stopped up there at 1065. And, as I speak, has now dropped down quite a bit. But we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, at this point, looking like more of a pullback is going to be needed. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. Next one here, BACK, and this is certainly a relatively ugly-looking chart at this point. Started off, no doubt about it, very, very nice, huge move up, and now a big old pullback here. But for you long-time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. And the opportunity here, what potentially can make sense, and this goes to any trading, but specifically in these sorts of setups and situations, if you're not a disciplined trader, if you're not going to, honor stop losses and manage risk, then certainly stay away. Like I said, you shouldn't even be trading in the first place, but that's a side discussion. But if you can be disciplined and want to structure a very interesting risk-reward scenario, then right down here, the 15, 16 cent mark seems to be very, very interesting because you have both of these levels, that pink line and purple line, converging. The pink line being the 200 period moving average, purple line being the 50 period moving average. So while that does not guarantee anything, doesn't make it valid, doesn't make it plausible to think that if the price comes down here, it could get a bounce in the upwards direction. Yeah, absolutely. So relative to what's being risked, if you do get that bounce, then you could be looking at a very, very nice risk reward scenario. So if you like to play these scenarios, if you like to play penny stocks, keep an eye on it. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and overall, a good day, gapped up. Did not explode, but of course didn't give back its gains. And then like a lot of the stocks right now, last 30 minutes are looking a little bit rough. But overall, the markets or the chart's hanging in there. And what I'm curious, as somebody that does watch Tesla very, very closely, is how's the price going to behave at this trend line right here, which you can see as I speak, the price is basically kissing that level. Let's see, market closes in about 5 minutes. So I suppose theoretically the price could ultimately close down below there. You'll have a better answer than me because by the time obviously you're watching this, the market will be closed. But nonetheless, right down here around this trend line here is a very interesting level of support that I think a lot of people will be watching. If that level is broken, then the next key level to watch is going to be that purple line there, 50-period moving average right now valued at, let's just call it 184.75, and then still that level down there at 184. But then I'm just going to leave out there just out of my pure curiosity's sake. So keep an eye on that. In terms of areas of resistance, if this thing does turn around, then there is this wedge pattern here that's forming. So you could, even draw up a little bull pennant pattern here. But let's put the breakout area right here around the 188 mark. And then from more of a potential maybe price target, if you get a high volume break of 188, no guarantees, but does it seem plausible that the price could at least go up there and test and bump its head on that pink line there, 200-period moving average at 190.150? That seems plausible to me. But yeah, definitely a very interesting wedge here. Got to think a lot of people are watching, so let's see how it all plays out. Next one, NIO, very, very impressive move, especially after this one had a very nasty pullback, was almost looking like maybe some sort of game over, but at least got this sideways movement here, and have now today got the move upwards. So still a lot of work that needs to be done, but certainly off to a nice start here. So let's map out a couple key areas of resistance. Near-term level that stands out to me right there at $9.65. And then as far as the support is concerned, let's just use that 200-period moving average, pink line right there, and then we'll draw in the pattern. So again, we'll just pretend that's our trend line, but we have our resistance, we have our support, you have the nice upwards move here, golf hole down here, so ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So I know NIO, one of those very popular stocks. So if you are somebody that likes to trade, classic technical patterns with relatively popular stocks, NIO, I'd say definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, this one will also go up. It just allows you access at a much lower price point, which makes it very, very popular ETF. And this will mean more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but here's a quick plug for that free class I was talking about. Get signed up for the class, right? Here's a classic example of technical analysis being powerful. For those of you that did watch yesterday's video, you remember me putting that trend line there, and you can see opening 30 minutes, trend line rejection, came all the way down here, big bounce up, and did it hit it? Exactly, it didn't. But did it get very, very close right there and then get rejected back down? Absolutely. So again, our chart's a perfect tool. Nothing is perfect. Is it worth learning more about? I would argue yes. So again, get signed up for that free class. But point here being is that moral of the story, moving forward, that trend line is going to be watched by just that many more people now, which means there's just that much more of a potential self-fulfilling prophecy with it if it can be broken. So keep a close eye on that. As far as areas of support are concerned, in the near term, I would definitely say there's one sitting down here at that $26.70 mark. If that level can't quite hold, then, let's just do this because it's getting kind of cluttered. I'm just going to get rid of that line with the next key level of support in the event, like I said, that level fails, is down there. 200-period moving average at $26.38. So keep an eye on that too. Again, assuming that level does fall. But yeah, no doubt about it. A lot of people are going to be watching these trend lines here, and you got to think that there's going to be quite a bit of self-fulfilling prophecy that comes along with it. So Wednesday taking shape, especially with the inflation data when it's released, taking shape to, grab your popcorn type of day. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free class. Like I said, it will be next week, Thursday, April 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these live trade videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, not live trade video, these top 10 videos are concerned, although I do offer live trade videos too, so check out the channel. But as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below. Tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Those two things help out the channel. They communicate to me that you enjoy, and as long as I know that you are enjoying these top 10 lists, I will continue to do them for you. So thanks for watching. Take care. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, and get signed up for the free class.